of 101 famous poems. Each and All. By Ralph Waldo Emerson. Spoken and with commentary by E. T. Hansen. Little thinks in the field yon red-cloaked clown of thee from the hilltop looking down. The heifer that lows in the upland farm, far heard, lows not thine ear to charm. The sexton tolling his bell at noon dreams not that great Napoleon stops his horse and lists with delight, whilst his files sweep round yond alpine height. Nor knowest thou what argument thy life to thy neighbour's creed has lent. All are needed by each one. Nothing is fair or good alone. I thought the sparrow's note from heaven, singing at dawn on the alder bough, I brought him home in his nest at even. He sings the song, but it cheers not now, for I did not bring home the river and sky. He sang to my ear, they sang to my eye. The delicate shells lay on the shore. The bubbles of the latest wave fresh pearls to their enamel gave, and the bellowing of the savage sea greeted their safe escape to me. I wiped away the weeds and foam, I fetched my sea-born treasures home, but the poor, unsightly, noisome things had left their beauty on the shore, with the sun and the sand and the wild uproar. The lover watched his graceful maid, as mid the virgin train she strayed, nor knew her beauty's best attire was woven still by the snow-white choir. At last she came to his hermitage, like the bird from the woodlands to the cage. The gay enchantment was undone, a gentle wife, but fairy none. Then I said, I covet truth. Beauty is unripe childhood's cheat. I leave it behind with the games of youth. As I spoke, beneath my feet, the ground pine curled its pretty wreath. Running over the club moss burrs, I inhaled the violet's breath. Around me stood the oaks and firs. Pine cones and acorns lay on the ground. Over me soared the eternal sky, full of light and of deity. Again I saw, again I heard, the rolling river, the morning bird. Beauty through my senses stole. I yielded myself to the perfect whole. Are you a rock star or a cog in the machine? On reading Emerson's Each and All. Some time ago, I overheard a very interesting and touching conversation among a group of young boys on the street. They were discussing, in all seriousness, two models of living when they were grown up. They asked each other, would you rather be a father with a big family and a good job, or wander the world alone and have all kinds of adventures, but never really belong to any one place? I had forgotten how perceptive young kids are. They had latched onto a question we all struggle with all our lives. On the one hand, we have a real need to be part of the group, to belong to, contribute to, and be protected by society. On the other, we have a deep need to be different, special, not like anyone else, to stand out, to be our own selves, undefined by what others want, to be unique. What's it going to be? Do we want to be the rock star in the spotlight, or the violinist in a perfectly disciplined orchestra that creates great art a single man or woman never could? Do we want to be the lone wolf or run with the pack? Do we want a long, happy, and prosperous life in the security of a big company and a big family with a solid contract and a modern house not far from a good shopping center? Or do we want to lead the Viking army to war and be the first to run screaming into battle, knowing that if we are not cut down in the first moments, we will reap glory forever, but knowing also that we will probably be cut down? I believe we are always a little bit of both, and it's good to be a little bit of both. I believe it's in our nature to be a part of nature, and all parts of nature are at once unique and beautiful, but also vital parts of the whole, contributing to the whole more than they know. Just as the rose is at once a singular work of beauty, yet at the same time it is a cog in the machine of nature, placed there among millions of other flowers for the sole purpose of providing bees with nectar and pollen. That's an interesting phrase, a cog in the machine. It's a saying that is meant to be negative, usually used with the words only or just, I'm just a cog in the machine. We disparage ourselves and others for not standing out, for not being the lone wolf or the hero or the rock star. And yet, we could not survive as a society if those cogs in the machine didn't work. We don't appreciate the parts of the whole. We take them for granted. And in the same way, we don't appreciate our part in the whole. For society would not function without us and what we do, whatever that is. The painful thing is that we will never know what part we play. As a writer, I never know who is reading the books I write, or if they get something out of it or are just bored. And I'm not the only one left in the dark. Every day, millions of people around the world read a book and get something out of it, maybe just entertainment, but maybe wisdom, maybe a way of looking at life that is new to them, maybe a feeling of hope and reassurance. But even if that book inspires them to do or become something great, found a great company, save a life, inspire and appreciate others, be a better parent, they will never tell the bookseller who sold them the book, or the printer who printed it, or the blogger who recommended it. They probably won't even remember that part of their success, their inspiration and encouragement, came from that book and from the long chain of cogs in the machine who got it to them. And that goes for everyone in society. No matter what part we play, whether the tired and frustrated cashier in a supermarket or an actor in a hit movie, whether the old man who gives away a smile for free or the tired family father who puts up Christmas lights that remind a late-night passersby to call mom, we affect the well-being and happiness of others in ways we will never know. But the thing is, we don't actually need to know. All we have to do is play our part well. Even if it's a McJob we hate, just doing time before we can pursue that career as a rock star, we can still do it well. Do it with a smile. Do it with pride in playing a role that will eventually affect someone else. I believe to be successful as a human being in society, we have to accept that we will never know what part we play. Yet, if we play that role the best we can, like an actor reciting lines to an audience he cannot see, we will affect the world around us in ways we cannot imagine. About Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson, born 1803 and died in 1882, was an American philosopher and essayist and the leader of the Transcendentalist movement, an American philosophy of the 19th century that emphasizes individualism over collectivism, the inherent goodness of people and nature, and the divine in the everyday. It was closely related to Unitarianism and took inspiration from the Bhagavad Gita. Emerson was born in Boston, Massachusetts, the son of a Unitarian minister. He studied for the ministry at Harvard and briefly served as one before coming into disagreement with the church. Though deeply Christian, his criticism of modern organized religion would sometimes cause controversy and get him labeled an atheist. When he began writing popular philosophical essays, he discovered public lectures as a means of disseminating his thoughts and soon earned a good living from it. He gave more than 1,500 lectures across the U.S. and turned his best lectures into successful books. He summarized his own philosophy with the words, "I have taught one doctrine, namely, the infinitude of the private man." His essays, for example, The Oversoul, are still recommendable reading today. He befriended and influenced many of the great writers, philosophers, and religious leaders of his day, including Henry David Thoreau, whom he inspired to write. He's the one who said, "Build a better mousetrap, and the world will be the path to your door." He married twice and fathered 4 children. In later years, he suffered from memory loss and died of pneumonia at the age of 78. Today, he is best known for his romantic poetry, which often describes the beauty and inherent divinity of nature, as well as the primal nobility of mankind. His most famous poems include Concord Hymn, Each and All, The Rhodora, and Brahma.